Good morning, good day, good afternoon, wherever you are on the planet. My name is Darcy D. I am your host for today's webinar and your virtual voice coach. And today we're going to be talking about singing smarter, not harder. So whether you're new to training or you've been singing for years, today's session is all about building a smart, efficient, personalized vocal plan that works for you. Singing smarter, not harder. Because you don't need more strain, more guessing, or more overwhelm. Just a plan that works for your voice and not against it. I'm going to sort of barrel through some of the points as they pertain to working with the Virtual Voice Coach app. How you can make the most out of the app and be as effective on building and balancing your voice as possible. And then there'll be room for questions. So this is, we've been getting a lot of new users on the app. And I noticed that there's a lot of current users who aren't taking advantage of what's in the app. And some of the tools that are in there that can help you sort of edify what you're doing and why you're doing it. And why you need a personal plan. Because every single voice is different, and learning to sing is much different than, say, learning to play piano or guitar. Piano or guitar, you could play the note and someone can copy your position, play the same note, voila. The voice is very much different. It's a little bit more complicated because of how different each voice is. So what works for one voice may not work for another voice at that time. That is to say that all the exercises are good for every singer, but as you're building your voice, especially if you're new, you have to find the right exercise, the correct exercises that are going to be effective for your voice type. Why do some singers struggle and some singers thrive? You know, some singers just seem to hit a plateau. The ones who improve the most typically have a plan. They apply what works and repeat that to create good habits. And those that may be struggling, maybe they don't have a plan or they're not aware of what's happening with their voice, and they get stuck or frustrated because they don't have or don't stick to a plan. When a vocal exercise works, it's most effective when repeated. It's not a one and done deal. You wouldn't go to the gym and lift one set and call it done. I'm good now. And you certainly want to focus on the areas of your voice that need the most attention, like you would the muscle groups of your body in the gym. So the key is knowing what exercises to do and what area of your voice needs to be balanced or strengthened. And of course, investing in some practical knowledge of how the voice works before you dive into random exercises online will make it easier to set up and apply your personal vocal plan. Today's topic will be extremely beneficial for those of you who are new to the Virtual Voice Coach app. And I do notice that there's users that have overlooked some key components of this teaching. And, you know, I have access to that on the back door, so I can see what you viewed and what you haven't. And I think that some of you are missing out on some key elements of basic knowledge of how the voice works. And it's important that today be a reminder for those of you that are already using it and for those of you that are new to make sure you do this first and foremost. It'll be a great way to set up the way you practice, the way you learn, and have a deeper understanding of what works and what doesn't. So here's the why. A personal vocal plan gives you first direction. You're not just doing random exercises, you're initiating correct exercises that enforce good habits or rehabilitate bad habits. If you've never had or taken voice training before, chances are you may have some bad habits, and it's only because you didn't know, and you maybe didn't know that you didn't know. Secondly, progression. You build the right skills at the right time. Much like the adage, you can't run before you walk. Knowing which areas of your voice need more strength and balance will lead you to the most effective exercises. Thirdly, consistency. you actually stick with it. Once you find an effective exercise, repeat it. Repeat it until it becomes a strong muscle memory. And then a lot of people say to me they lack the confidence. You know what you're working on and why. If you're confident about it, you'll become a skilled exerciser. You'll habituate accurate pitch, ease in presence, more flexible coordination. You'll become competent in your exercise. And competence breeds confidence. So when your exercise becomes easy, that's usually a really strong signal that it's time to move on to song or move into song. Once you become comfortable with the exercise, sometimes when you speed it up, you don't feel the transition as much. And because you've memorized the pattern and the pitch and the placement of the exercise as it pertains to your voice, speeding it up allows you to think less about it and just do it. Much like the headspace you should be in when you're singing songs. You don't really think about it, you're telling the story. So you've memorized the lyrics, the melody, and you know that you can get to all these notes, etc. So that's a good point. So assessment. First of all, you have to know your voice. Before you start training, you have to know where you're starting from, as in, what level you're at. If you're a beginner, a newbie, you're going to want to start right from the beginning. If you're a semi-professional pro singer and you've never had training, you may want to start from the beginning as it pertains to training your voice. Some people are just great imitators and they're able to emulate sounds and styles. And there may be some loose ends in there. There may be some things that we could rehabituate to create ease and presence and strength. So inside Virtual Voice Coach, we use vocal analysis to help you identify your voice type. And if you haven't been through the app, you may or may not know what this means. So you map out your current range, you spot any tension, imbalance, or bad habits. You find out what your voice type is, what your voice might need, and all of these are in the app. I'll go through the app with you in a moment, but after you know what voice type you are, or what your voice might be missing, or what your voice might be, you might have to take away from how you sing, we're going to build a routine, and we're going to build some smart vocal habits. And your custom routine should fit your voice and your goals. In the app, once you know what your voice type is, there's 4 of them, you will then go to that part of the app where the workouts are, and you will run through those exercises. Keeping in mind, you may have to first learn and habituate the exercise before the exercise will do what it's designed to do. And you go through the exercises one by one, and you try to digest each and every note. You start where it's comfortable, and you don't go high enough that you begin to strain or your voice wants to disconnect. You can always fast forward or restart. And then the exercises in that routine, which are designed for your voice type, are going to give you what you need to build and balance, right? And then you choose your focus. So what we were just talking about, whether it's no chest voice, pulled chest voice, flipped voice, or blended voice routines. Now, keeping in mind, every singer's goal is to become a blended voice singer or mixed voice singer, meaning you have access to your chest voice through your transition to your head voice, no strain or disconnect. So these routines, all of them are going to lead to blended voice. But if you have a strong tends to say, flip or strain, then there's certain routines that are more indicative of those voice types, those tends tos, and then they will lead you to the blended voice exercise routines. You'll build range, control, stamina, flexibility, and tone. This includes warm-ups and targeted drills, as well as cool downs. These are all things that should become just habitual in your routine. You should always warm up. And even if that's all you do is warm up, you treat the warm up like an exercise routine and do it as correctly as possible with no strain or disconnect, and that's a routine in itself. If you warm up and then go into targeted drills or sing songs, you're going to give your voice a little bit of extra attention, great. And then always remember to finish with a cool down. That is really, really imperative. And then for those of you that work hard, again, you're semi-professional, professional singers, or you're just singing every day, just like you would working out in the gym, don't skip a rest day. Take some time off. Zip it shut. Don't say anything. Maybe run the straw or some bubbles. In the app, you can build your routine based on your progress and your voice type. You can also go into the exercise toolbox and build your own routines. Eventually, you need to learn each and every exercise and challenge your coordination from time to time. Exercises are great, but the goal is always real world singing. We want to be able to sing songs. That's why I guess we're taking voice lessons, right? We want to learn how to best utilize or manipulate our voice so we can do the things we want to do with it. And it's important. It's important that your exercise becomes clinical and disciplined, so the things that you learn in exercise, will go into song, and into song quite easy. So you apply, once you begin to master exercises, you can apply exercises to your song. And I believe we have a webinar in the app on getting from exercise to song, which really explains that a lot. You can also use the vocal motion feature to increase your pitch accuracy. You can challenge your breath flow and your coordination. You can track your breath and phrasing, and it really helps you identify with what may be lacking in your voice. You can learn how to bridge techniques into your performance. So, don't confuse exercise with not singing, because when you're exercising, you are singing. It's just different. We're not really saying anything that we understand. The sounds are somewhat gibberish, but you're still singing. So keep that in mind. And the vowels that you use are going to be integrated into song when you begin to sing songs. And it's important that all 10 of your vowels are set and habituated. So you must practice with intention, not just repetition. Remember, technique is the vehicle and expression is the destination. The next item you would look at is review. So you've found your voice type, you've started to exercise a little bit, you've tried to digest the notes as best as possible, you're staying within the working part of your register. Now it's time to review. Record yourself singing these exercises. Listen, is there a difference? Did the exercise or routine provide relief regarding your current tense to? For example, no chest voice. Could you feel more connection after doing the exercises? If it was pulled chest voice, was there more release and ease in your voice? Was it easier to get to the notes? If you're a flipped voice singer, your voice tends to flip through the transition. Could you find balance through the transition? Was it starting to build that bridge that we're all looking for? Right, and then finally, blended voice. Did you get more of everything? Was there more power, more range, ease, dynamics, control? Because if you're a blended voice singer, that's what we're looking to build. So you review, you find out what areas of the exercise were more challenging, what part of the vocal register, lower in the transition, the higher part of your head voice, and then was it the vowel you were saying? Perhaps it would be easier with a different vowel, because some vowels are easier to get through and some are more challenging. And again, that is in the app. That's all explained to you in the app. And then following this, you want to repeat. Notice what worked to relieve or get rid of your tense to. Repeat that to secure the habit 2 or 3 more times in that one workout. You can rest in between or reset with a non-articulate like a lip bubble or the semi-occluded vocal tract like a straw. But then come back to it, repeat it, just like when you're at the gym. You rest for a few seconds, do that 10 minutes again, and you'll notice a difference. You will definitely feel a difference. And stay hydrated too. Another question, I started as a pure flipper when I first started, and now I focus on pulled chest routine more than any other routine, but also do many exercises from the blender routine as well. The Flipper 2 routine, however, is an awesome workout, and I go back to that still as well. So what he's saying here is he was diagnosed as a flipper when he began training, and now it's changed to pulled chest. So what would happen is, if you're a flipper, we're learning to balance that larynx. As you learn to balance the larynx, you may find there's a little bit more tension as you develop more chord closure, and there's more of a connection both at the vocal cords, and a connection between chest and head. You might start to pull a little bit. So then you can alternate between these routines. Remember, no chest, pulled chest, and flip voice routines are all leading to blended voice. Sometimes you might find yourself going back to one or two or more, and I recommend sometimes for people that I work with online, to alternate between one or two different routines. And then going to the blended voice routine, it's a great way to test your coordinations, to see what is working and what isn't. Great point. Thanks for that. Now, listen, if you're new as a singer or you're new to the app and you're like, what on earth, where do I even start? And you're just not sure if you're doing it correctly or not, or you're not understanding why you can't get through a certain area of your voice, get support. Don't go this alone. Even the best singers need feedback. And within the app, there's the community pages where you can get in there and you can have your questions asked and answered by like-minded singers. Chad is a great example. He's always in there, always sharing ideas and examples of things he's doing. And it's not just voice training related. It's songwriting, it's recording, it's how we use our voice in every way we would use it. So there may be questions in there that have already been asked and answered, and you can just go, these are people going through the same issues that you may be facing. Get in there and check it out, right? And ask those questions. You can also reach out to me personally. I am your coach. This is the content that I fed into this platform, and I want to support it. Your success is my success. If you're struggling, don't. Hit me up on a chat. Ask me the question in a direct message in the app. You can also go to the module Need Help and record 30 seconds of a challenge you're having, whether it's exercise or in a song, a performance question, and send me that video, and then I will respond in kind with a video with some sort of prescriptive remedy in the form of exercises or another approach. There's no need for you to struggle. I'm here for you. And your question may turn into a weekly webinar such as this one. That's what we want to do. We want to build a community of like-minded vocalizers learning to build and balance their voices, and there's no reason why you can't. So keep that in mind. You can book the private lesson if you like as well. You just go to the book a session module within the app and book the session. Don't challenge. Just don't struggle. It's just not worth it. You really need to take advantage of everything that's in here. I want you to stay accountable and inspired, right? Singers who stay connected, stay consistent. Everything that you do for your voice develops the habits of how you train, which will bleed into how you sing and how you learn. There's webinars on going from exercise to song, show you how to set that up so you can build your repertoire and everything can be clean. Less guesswork, right? So when you look at building your plan in the app, let's walk through how you would build your vocal plan. Let me just, I'm going to share a few things with you. Here we go. So within the app, when you open it up on your computer or in your phone, you get to the sessions. Now, this is really what I'm trying to stress today, and primarily because, like I said, there's been a lot of new users to the app who have seemed to skip through this part, and then they have questions or concerns or challenges that maybe they could have omitted should they do this first. So you can go through, you can look at, welcome to the app and see who I am and all that. There's the app map, which is basically shortcuts. You can also, when you're in the app and you find a place that you like, you can bookmark it. You can star it so it's in your favorites you can access from your profile. But what I really wanted to share is how the voice works. This module is really, really important for understanding, what the voice is and how it works, and just a little bit of science, a little bit of what I think should be common knowledge for you as singers. And some of it can be, over the head, but after a couple of listens and watches, you'll find that it'll explain a lot. And then vocal registers, what is a vocal register? And it'll explain what the vocal registers are, how we can access them. And then, of course, after all of that, you can go into voice types. And this will help you determine what your voice type is. Like Chad had suggested, started out as a flipper and then started to pull chest, and now he's going into blender and he's bouncing back and forth. This is very common. And depending on where we are in our vocal development, this will be something that you look at. So if you know what your voice type is, you do this demonstration, you can see how it works. And when you've figured out what you think your voice type is, then you can, come down to the workout routines. There's for female and male singers for all the tens tos. Start to work that. Feel the exercises, make sure you're connected, make sure there's no strain, and slowly digest each and every exercise till the workout begins to be something you can do in 10 or 15 minutes. You could repeat that 4 to 6 times per day. Then you can go into other building tools. And one of my favorites, of course, is the deep practice. The deep practice exercises take and dissect the exercises in a way that you'll memorize it backwards and forwards. And when you do this to the piano or to the exercise routine, which is tuned to a piano, the habits you create are in tune with most everything you're going to sing. Take the vocal analysis module in the app that determines your voice type. And this helps set your goals and understand why you're doing said exercises. Choose your voice type, focus areas, no chest, pull chest, flip voice blender. This may be something that rotates like Chad. Start your first smart routine. Begin where it's comfortable and in your working part of your register. Don't start too low. Don't go too high. Continue your growth using, say, vocal motion. You're in the car on your way to work. You got a hour commute. Plug in vocal motion. Sing along. Right? The improve on the move section of the app that allows you to work on your voice while you're on your commute. And then if you need to, check in with your coach every few weeks, there's a lot of you that I work with online already, so we check in all the time, and it's great. But for those of you who are trying to go this alone, just check in. Send me a message, go into the community, and get the answers that you're looking for. All of this is built into the app designed to grow with you, right? And some of the mistakes that I think you should avoid, training without goals is like doing random exercises. Don't ignore strain or vocal fatigue, because pushing it beyond that, unlike building muscle in the gym, is not a good idea, right? So know your limits, sing within it. Another one is over-singing. No need to exercise for a couple of hours in one session. 10 or 20 minutes of deliberate, intentional exercise, purposeful exercise will provide results faster and safer than an hour of looking for it. Don't use the wrong exercises for your voice type. Make sure you know your voice type, your voice limitations, and do the exercises to combat your tens tos. Again, random exercises on YouTube may be effective for the person demonstrating. However, they may not be the best ones for your voice, right? You have to sing smarter. Make sure you know what that is. If you don't know what that is, reach out to me. We'll make sure we get you the right exercises. Don't skip your cool downs. If you've worked your voice for 20 minutes, just do a cool down. Some lip bubbles, some straw, cool it down, right? Make sure that it doesn't, there's no tension under here. The extrinsic muscles are not affected. And that's basically it. I mean, that was the purpose of today's message. And again, based on all the new users we have in the app, I want to make sure you're on top of it and you're starting correctly. If you've liked what you've seen today, as always, like, share, and subscribe. It means a lot to me and I appreciate it. See you soon.